Reynard the Fox, Part 3. "Pray, cease immediately, old hermit," demanded the King Herald. "King Noble has proved no better than I in dealing with evildoers. Just as in his kingdom, the innocent suffer and the wicked prosper. How will King Noble ever bring justice and happiness to his people? What can I possibly learn from this story, old hermit?" "Surely, wise hermit," Queen Caroline bitterly interjected, "you don't intend to suggest that good King Harold model himself on that despicable fox?" "Be patient, your Royal Highness, and hear me out," said the hermit. "You will find that wisdom often comes to you from depths you least expected you had." But Graybeard the Badger was not easily persuaded of his old friend's guilt, and pleaded once more on the fox's behalf. "Remember, my king, what your just laws stipulate, that one must be summoned and fail to appear 3 times before one can be condemned." "Who," asked the discouraged king, "would be foolish enough to try to summon a Reynard a 3rd time?" "I will," answered the badger. "If you allow me to be your royal messenger, so be it," said the king. The badger then made haste for Malepartus, where he tried to reason with Reynard. "This is your 3rd summons," said the badger. "If you delay further, the king and his council will come here and destroy you, your family, and Malepartus." Fully confident he could still outwit anyone, alive, the fox agreed to follow Graybeard back. Word quickly spread that Reynard was on his way to court, and everyone rushed outside eager to get a glimpse of the famous scoundrel. At last the fearless fox stood before the king and said, "My lord, I am and have always been one of your most loyal and least understood servants, and I welcome your invitation to defend myself against the outrageous accusations my enemies have made behind my back." "Silence!" cried the king. "How dare you lie about your loyalty? We have all seen how cruelly you treat my subjects." "But, good king," said the fox, "you judge only by what others have told you. Can you really blame me for Bruin's comeuppance when he so wrongly tried to steal the woodcutter's honey? Or when Tybalt so foolishly attempted to eat the parson's mice? Did I lay a hand on them?" "How malicious a mongrel you are! What about the evil you've done to Isengrim's family and poor Chanticleer's favorite daughter?" demanded the king. Before Reynard could even reply, the council had pronounced him guilty and had led him straight to the gallows. But the wily fox didn't give up so easily. He piously begged the King Noble for just a moment to clear his conscience, to confess his many sins before he was hanged. The king, who had a good heart, could not deny him this. Reynard took great care in thanking the king for his kindness, and humbly announced, "I'll never lie to you, your highness." The words were hardly out of his mouth before he began to confess that maybe he had made a few mistakes, and had indeed stolen a few things in his life, but nothing compared to the treasure his father had made off with. He mumbled on and on about the wagon loads of gold and silver and precious gems his father had accumulated. Reynard sensed that the only way he could possibly survive this crisis was to prey upon the collective greed of the assembled courtiers. As King Noble tried to sort out this bewildering tale, his queen began to daydream about the piles of gold and silver and precious gems. "What happened to this wonderful treasure?" she asked. "It is hidden well," said Reynard. "My wife Ermeline and I have pledged never to reveal its whereabouts, for we've heard that there are those in this kingdom who might use it wrongfully to hire an army and overthrow our beloved king." When the queen motioned for Reynard to come closer, there was a little stir as many of the king's loyal subjects coughed nervously, glanced around, or stared at the ground. "Surely," she whispered, "no one we know would ever want to overthrow our generous king. Your secret is safe with us." "Why should I tell you what I know?" asked the fox. "You haven't believed a word I've said." "It's another trick," said the king. "But what if it's not?" said the queen. "If the secret dies with the fox, we surely lose the treasure, and maybe even the kingdom. If, however, you pardon him, he could lead us to this great treasure so that no one else can find and harm us." Reluctantly, the king gave in to her wishes and pardoned the fox. "But this is the last time I will trust you, Reynard. Believe me, you will regret this. If is another one of your vile tricks. Now lead us to your so-called treasure." The fox, of course, could never take them to these imaginary riches. So he continued stalling. "My king, to prove that my remorse is genuine, I beg you to let me make a pilgrimage to Rome to receive the Pope's pardon. But the treasure is so well hidden that even I need a map to find it. I will be glad to go home and bring it to you." The king and queen, out of greed, foolishly believed Reynard once more. Noble then ordered both Lop and the hare and Bellin the ram to accompany Reynard back to Malepartus to get the map before the fox departed for Rome. "Stay together," the king warned Lop and Bellin. "Two will have a better chance than one against this crafty fox." The three finally arrived at Malepartus. Lop was tired and Bellin was hungry, so Reynard encouraged Bellin to stay outside the castle gate, and enjoy some of the luscious pasture grasses. "How will you learn if you don't ever make mistakes, children?" "Oh, okay, now we get it." "Meanwhile, Lop can rest inside while I go find the map," he suggested. And that was the end of part 3.